That was the Part Q section of the beginning part of the intro. The second would be what we call the game plan, which is more of an educational step-by-step process right before the workout. I do want to kind of harp a little bit on this before we go into what we call the game plan. Right here, if you want to zoom in on this, Kevin, where it says, what are your goals? This section right here, I could myself tell if someone's going to sell the person while they're working them out based on their Part Q alone. You have to get 4 main goals out of them. Now, when you ask someone their goal, from experience, about 10 years now, people are going to be extraordinarily vague. They're going to say, I'm just trying to lose some weight. I'm trying to just get healthier. Now, if somebody's very vague like that, you don't just want to say, well, Mrs. Jones, are you trying to lose weight? Even if the person is 500 pounds, that could be insulting. So you want to offer up the whole gauntlet. So you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, strength, flexibility, endurance, then they'll pick and choose bits and pieces out of there. Now there's a couple of what we call dissection questions that are very, very important that you ask. One of the main ones is, did you just join the gym? If they say no, I joined a while ago, you want to find out how long and what they've been doing. If they say yes, I just joined the gym recently, great. You're smarter than most people, you're seeing me before you go out on the floor so we get a game plan and we can get a technique going on, right? Then you would say, if they've never worked out before, if you weren't seeing me today, what would your routine consist of? You've been to the, or if they belong to the gym for a year, since you've been going to the gym for a year, what does your routine look like? How many days a week have you been going? How long are you at the gym? If they say they're trying to lose weight or put on weight, well, why? How long have you been trying to lose this weight for? What do you think happened to you that you put the weight on? It could be an injury, it could be just they got a promotion and they haven't had the time to go to a gym. All these are trigger questions that are going to give you what we call ammunition, so if somebody gives you an objection at the end, it's very easy to overcome them. Some other dissection questions would be, what do you have from your experience? We have, how long you've been going to the gym, what would your routine be? How long did it take you to put on this weight? Why do you think you put on this weight? Do you have an event coming up in order to reach this goal, which would be a wedding, reunion, anything?
Vacations, yeah.
You do want to set a date down too. Now, if you revert back to what Val did, and he did a very good job of doing this, is the person asked, well, realistically, how long do you think it's going to take me to reach their goal? Now, we don't want to lie and say it's going to take them 2 years, but we do want to be realistic with that person. 6 to 12 months. Even if the person isn't trying to lose a significant amount of weight, we still need to put the muscle on them. So you always want to say between 6 and 12 months, because the average person is, when we get into the game plan, you'll find out, it does take about a month to build 1 to 2 pounds of lean muscle mass, and that's obviously the whole key to losing the weight. Now, one thing you would want to do if your potential client in front of you says that they do mostly cardio is something that we call the cardiograph.
Yes.
Now, if you want to come behind me, I'm going to show you how to do that. So me and Val are going to role play this really quickly. So Val, you told me that you've been coming to the gym for 6 months and you haven't been seeing the results you want to see so far.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Now, how many days a week are you coming to the gym?
Right now, 3 days.
3 days. Perfect. That's all we need. So 1, 2, 3, and you've been doing the treadmill, elliptical, what?
Yeah. Treadmill.
Treadmill.
Yep.
Do you keep track of that little calorie counter on there?
Not usually, but averagely I'd see, I think, a number like 250.
All right, now if they give you a number, that's a gift. Most people will say no. Now that number can't come from thin air, so I'm gonna say what I do, right?
Yep.
So back to the role playing. Well, Val, I know when I personally do cardio on the treadmill, I do what's called intervals, and I'll sprint for a minute and then I'll walk for a minute. And I do that for a half hour, and I burn about roughly 200 calories.
Okay.
So that's actually realistic. Most people do burn 200 calories in a half hour. It's a nice round number. Now in their mind, they're thinking, well, I don't do that.
Yeah.
So I burn probably a lot less than that. So you want to go 1, 2, 3. So Val, every time you come to the gym, you're burning 200 calories, right?
Yep.
So in 1 week through exercise, you burnt
600.
I like getting them engaged, asking them the questions to kind of keep them from dozing off on me. If they can't do the math within 2 seconds, hopefully you guys are good enough to do the math for them. So 600 calories in 1 week.
Yeah.
Now here's what you want to do here, guys. You want to extend this for as many weeks out, keeping it under 3,500, which I'll explain in a second. So in this case, we can extend it out 4 weeks.
Yep.
Back to the role playing. So Val, you burn in 1 week 600 calories through exercise. Things are going good. Now you've been coming for a whole month, which is 4 weeks. 600 times 4 is
2,400.
2,400. Perfect. So through exercise in 1 month, you burnt 2,400 calories.
Wow.
That's a lot of calories,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Notice their tonality. Let me ask you this. Do you know the significance of this number right here, Val? 3,500?
How many calories I need to eat?
Everyone says that. I wouldn't expect you to know this. It's not a general household thing that people know. That's how many calories you need to burn in order to lose just 1 pound of body fat. Count. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Let that sink into Mr. or Mrs. Jones's head of how daunting a task that really is.
Oh.
Now, why this is so beneficial, guys, is this is America. This is what people do. And now, whether they didn't trust you in the beginning, now things are really starting to resonate of, wow, this guy or girl might know what they're talking about, and now I know why I'm not seeing results. Now, to make matters worse, Val, Mrs. Jones,
Yeah.
is that the only downfall to just doing cardio is that as soon as you step off that piece of equipment, you're done burning excess calories through exercise for the day. So let's say you're like most people, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, pizza night.
Yep.
You could have an extra slice, an extra Coke.
Mm-hmm.
You negated the day. You have an extra 2 slices. You negated the other day. Some people might negate the whole week based on the diet alone.
Mm.
So now I know what you're thinking. Well, how am I ever going to lose that 30 pounds, 20 pounds, or whatever the case may be that they want to lose?
Yeah.
And that's where the game plan comes into play, and that's where we're going to teach them that. Going back to what Val did that was very, very good, and it's crucial in order to close the sale, is that once he got 4 goals, and that's the minimum, 4 really, really good goals out of Mr. and Mrs. Jones, the client that's in front of him, he repeated the goals, making them seem worse than what they actually are. Now, what I mean by that is if someone's trying to, in this case, lose 45 pounds, put on a little bit of muscle, and I would actually probably peel back the layers of the onion a little bit more than that, finding out why they want to lose that weight, and it would go a little something like this. So, Jeff, you've told me you're trying to lose 45 pounds, right? For the past year, year and a half, you've been coming to the gym for about 6 months now, and you haven't really seen any weight loss. I realize that could be frustrating, correct? So obviously, it's not motivation. You're still coming. I know most people, if they haven't seen results in about 6 months, they probably quit the gym. So you got the hard part down, the motivation. You're coming.
Yeah.
Now it's my job, and I'm going to show you why you weren't losing that weight. But I guarantee you, 6 months from now, you'll at least cut that in half, if not lose that 45 pounds.
That would be great.
But let me ask you this: gaining that 45 pounds, how do you think you gained it?
Just overeating, one. Things popped up here and there. Sometimes I didn't go to the gym, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing what brought you in here today is maybe the clothes aren't fitting properly, right?
Yeah, no, that's one of them for sure, and I've been doing the same thing.
I know some people's confidence sort of dwindles. Now, I interrupted him on purpose in a respectful manner to maintain that control. Maybe your confidence is dipping down a little bit. I know when people gain weight, even 10 pounds, sneaking up on them, let alone 45, it could take a toll on that as well. Breathing a little bit heavier going up the stairs. I don't know if you have kids, but keeping up with them, dogs, pets, running around with them even, your endurance tends to go down when you gain that much weight. So here we are today.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to beat them down, and then all of a sudden I'm going to build them back up. Well, here's the great news, Jeff. Is from what you told me, you're doing a cardio-based workout, which isn't the real way to lose a body fat and weight. I know you're looking at me like you have 8 heads like most people do when I tell them that. And we'll learn in the game plan, the book right there, of why that's not actually the most beneficial way to lose weight. So if you put in the work, which you are right now, coming 3 days a week, I guarantee you, and I use that word strongly, guarantee within 6 to 12 months that you'll have met and exceed all these goals. And that high cholesterol medication your doctor said they may or may not prescribe won't even be relevant anymore. How's that sound?
That'd be great.
Get them excited.